Hi everyone, welcome to the Startup Center. Today we will be going over an augmented reality workshop. This workshop reviews the fundamentals of Unity and guides you through how to create an augmented reality poster.
Hey, well, I guess before we get started with the very Unity stuff, just to intro us, I'm Somo. I'm one of the visual thinking lab managers. The one who'll be going over most of the tutorial is Ashley. She's also a visual thinking lab manager. We've been working at the Startup Center for close to a year now. Pretty much through the last 2 quarters, we've been teaching workshops about how to use Unity to create VR projects. Initially, the plan was to do the same this quarter, but we figured that to sort of play with these VR projects you build, you need headsets, right? And all of you might not have them available at your place. And that's why we've sort of transitioned to AR this quarter, because you can just use it on your phone and you sort of gain the same skill set. So that's sort of the thought process behind doing AR stuff. This workshop will be part of a series. So we'll have workshops Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m. every 2 weeks. We start off with doing some basic AR stuff today, and eventually you also get to doing, I guess, cooler mainstream things like Snapchat filters, stuff like that. So be on the watch out for that too. And just if you have any VR related questions, be sure to reach out to me and Ashley.
And today's workshop is going to consist of 2 things, since they're both very relatively short. Okay, so we're going to go get started with the Unity Hub. One of the neat things that Unity offers is the ability to save different versions of Unity within one platform. And this is useful because some assets require an older version of Unity, and Unity isn't always backwards compatible. In this workshop, we're going to use the 2019.3 version, which is the version that works with both our assets and the Vuforia engine. Okay, so now we want to create a new project, and you can label it whatever. You can label it Workshop 1, doesn't really matter. After you create a project, the Unity interface is going to pop up, and we're going to take a look at the inspector, which is the thing that's inside the project. Anything that's on the scene that you're physically working on. The project is anything that you upload, just overall things that you haven't necessarily included in the scene, but still part of your general project. Inspector is just the different properties of each item that you click on. The console is if you're running the program, if there's any errors, it'll show up here. So since we're doing AR, we want to take off all the VR or the basic things. So we want to delete these. So we're deleting camera, we're deleting the light, since we're going to be using the AR camera. And then you can just save that. Then we're going to go to build settings, because we need to tell it that we want to work with AR, not VR. So I'm just going to go on Android. If you're building for your iPhone, you can go on OS. But the only thing is, if you don't have a Mac, you can't build for iPhone, since you need Xcode. And whenever you're building the project, it builds the projects in Xcode only. I just prefer to use Android, since it's the only thing that allows me to build. And then you just switch the platform, and it's going to compile some scripts and take a little bit. Is everyone on the same page, or do I need to slow it down for anyone?
I think the pace is very nice.
Okay, thank you. A lot of it is just waiting till things are done installing and downloading. So I think it should be done. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to go on to player settings. And we're going to remove Vulkan. So basically, once everything's loaded, we're going to look for XR settings, which is extended reality settings. And we're going to click on the augmented reality. And that's going to also import some stuff, so it's going to take a bit.
And so one of the prime reasons why we use Unity for most of our development is many of these things, if you're developing on Xcode or just developing natively, you have to write scripts for it yourself. Versus Unity has most of this, I guess, functionality to make it compatible with different platforms. And this, I guess, the very base of all functionality, just enabling VR and stuff like that, already built in. So you don't have to write those scripts, which is why we sort of recommend Unity as a platform, and this is why we sort of use Unity as a platform.
Okay, and it's going to take a bit to download. But the nice thing about this version is that it downloads everything for you. You don't have to go to an external website and download anything. But if you do have issues, if it's saying that Vuforia is not loading, then you can go ahead and take that extra step. So just a troubleshooting hint. You can go on the Vuforia website. I can add a link to that. You just download it, and it should automatically apply to your project. If it gives you weird errors like a script isn't there or things like that, then you can just re-upload Vuforia, and it should give you the latest issue, which should like basically solve everything. Okay, so it's pretty much done, and we can close this. So now you should be able to right-click on the hierarchy, and Vuforia Engine should pop up, and we want to have the AR camera. So then that adds AR camera, and then you shouldn't be able to see anything since there's no light. And what we want to do is we want to add an image, so we can have the image on our phone, and if the camera recognizes the image, then it displays an object on top of it. So we go to Vuforia again and click on image. It's just going to import like the default images that it has, so we don't have to go find an image online and then upload it. It should already have the default packages. But if you want to find an image online, if you want to have like your own custom image, you can do so. And if you want to learn how to do that, you can come to our office hours and like learn how to customize everything. So then we want to have an actual image, because if you see there's nothing here, you can zoom in a little bit. Oh, actually sometimes it'll preload an image for you, like the default image. So if it doesn't have that, then you can just go ahead and click one. I'll show you guys how to do that just in case it doesn't have a preset image. I think if it doesn't have a preset image, it should be something like add image, or should have some sort of blank space like this, where you would click the circle and you could choose any image from the default list. So it should be around here if it's not preloaded. So what this does, it has a lot of behavior that tracks things. And if you have an object, you could automatically make it a child, and all the settings will be applied. You don't have to code anything. All you have to do is just add an object, make it a child, and everything else should work. So what we do is we go on our project, and we see that we don't have any objects here, so we want to download them from Unity Store. So you can do that by going Windows, Asset Store, and you also want to make sure that you have the 3D model objects installed for Vuforia. So we want to make sure everything's already imported before we go ahead and add actual models to our project. So you can just delete that, we don't need that for now. And I already have it in my account. So I have it under my assets. And the name is Vuforia Core Samples. So I'm just going to type that in the chat so you guys know which to get. It should look like this. Okay, you just import those, and those just gives you the actual models. There's like an actual astronaut model, or there's like little rovers that are added. And this is going to pretty much take a while. And then these are all the things that it includes. So it includes like the astronaut, drones, objects, and we're going to go ahead and import all of them. Okay, let me know if everyone's on the same page, or if you want me to wait a little bit. Okay. And when we do the video, it should pretty much be the same concept where you have a poster, but this time we're going to upload an image, our own image. We're going to do a Harry Potter poster. So we're going to get one from the internet. We're going to upload this image, and then we're going to have our own video, which we're also going to get from the internet. So it should just be the same process. You have an image, and as a child, you have what you want the Vuforia engine to identify and overlay on top of the image. Okay, and then this recording is going to be uploaded immediately after the workshop. So if you want to pause and go back on something that we did, you can go ahead and do so.
Yeah, I think quite a few of you guys don't have Unity installed. And so like I messaged in the chat, you have probably just finished installing Unity Hub and you still need to download Unity. And that could take a while. So I would recommend just like setting that to install, but then just watching the video right now live and then catching up based on the video we upload. Because Unity is a pretty heavy program which could take like 10-15 minutes to download and install.
Okay, and then I'll look up the YouTube name right now while everything's loading, and then I'll just type it in the chat so you can know where to go to watch this at the end of it. And that should be our YouTube. So it's SSC at UC Davis. And as of right now, we're not really getting into the whole interface of Unity. We're just kind of just diving right in and creating this project. So if you have any just questions as you're going through it, feel free to contact us. You can email the Startup Center's email, or I think, do you have a better way to reach us, Samil? Do you think?
I think it would be amazing if you guys could join the Startup Center community Slack. I think I can link that to you guys here. It's not only a great place to like connect with us, but also connect with all other managers, keep up with workshops, and just be aware of startup stuff in Davis. I'll do that here. And I think another thing you can do by the time this is downloading is sort of go over like, I guess, the view of Unity and stuff like that, because I think we didn't really go too much into detail in terms of that. So what you see on the screen on the left, or you can either see this on Ashley's screen or your individual screens, the hierarchy tab is the name are like all the objects which are within your scene. The thing you see in the center, and so now this might be different for all of you based on if you just downloaded Unity and how I guess the windows are configured. But the scene tab, or the tab in which you actually see pictures, colorful stuff, is where you place objects to start off at. So this is the initial, I guess, initial positions you give to the various objects you add to your game, VR environment or AR environment. Besides the scene tab, I think in most views you'll see a game tab. If not, you can go to, I think, window and add the game tab. But the game tab is where you actually hit play and simulate your environment. That is where you'll sort of simulate what, I guess, wearing those headsets for VR and having your phone camera on for AR will be like. Towards the right, you have the inspector. The inspector is where you see properties of the currently selected object. In the bottom panel is the assets. These are the assets you have installed locally, and so you can pretty much drag and drop any objects from this to either the scene to directly place it within the scene, or you can drag and drop it to the hierarchy to then first place it there and then modify its position. You'll also see a console tab somewhere on the screen. If not, again, you can go to window and hit console. That is sort of like, I guess, the debug log once you start running the game. In the top tab, I would say like mainly, I guess, two important parts are, I guess, the assets tab and the game object tab. The game object tab is where you can go ahead and add different game objects. Game objects are like, I guess, various, how do I say this? It's various shapes, volumes, or I guess more interactive little objects you can add to your game. These are, I guess, predefined, pre-built by Unity. So you can think of them as assets that come shipped in with Unity. Assets is where you go and import your own assets, or if you want to access the asset store, you can do that through the assets tab. Assets are like, I guess, another thing that makes Unity so amazing is that you can import various things you've built across other platforms. So if you have certain models you've built in AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Blender, you can import that here. You can also just access the asset store and get like access to all these scripts, games, and also just 3D models. So I think, yeah, that is pretty like a general overview of the screen. One really convenient feature of Unity these days is if on the top, all of you might not see this if you don't have Collab set up, but if you see on Ashley's screen, you have this option called Collab. So just hitting that pretty much just pushes your local repo or local project to this online cloud storage for Unity, which pretty much just works like GitHub. It's also really easy to collaborate and work together on Unity.
Okay, so it seems like it's done. Let me just close this asset tab. And you can right click it and you can just close. And if you want to add anything, you can just go to the window and it has all the options. It has asset store, and just like in general, you have the scene, your game. So if you accidentally close any tabs, you can just find it here. Okay, and then, so we just downloaded sample resources. So we can go here in our project, and it should be under a couple files. And then here, if you look, it has like all the files and then just like the hierarchy. So it's a lot easier to navigate instead of just like looking at these files here. You can just click on the triangles and it'll show everything. And we want to go to model targets. And then you can click on the triangle again, look at all the folders. And prefabs are pretty much just pre-made objects that have properties to it that you can just basically copy and paste. So if you have an object and you created these scripts for it and it performs a specific task and you want to use that several times throughout the project, then you make it a prefab. And then you have your materials, your models. So we're going to go and get this lander and you can just click and drag onto the scene itself, or you can click and drag to the hierarchy. And then, so these arrows are basically the movement tools. So if you just click and drag, you can position it. There's also other tools here. This is the hand tool you can just use to move the environment itself. And this is a rotate tool, which is just for rotating at all degrees. This is used to either shrink, so you can shrink it on each side, or you can go to this middle box and just shrink or expand the whole thing as a unit. So we're just going to make sure it fits on top of the poster. We're going to shrink a little bit. Okay, that seems fine. And then there's also other tools here. This is just to move it again, just on one axis. And any error that you make, you just Control Z and then it'll reset. So what we're gonna do is, it's kind of a little off camera. So there's also different keyboard tools you can use. So if you right click, you can adjust your view. And if you use the up, down, side to side buttons, you can navigate through the environment too. Okay. I'm just gonna go back to this is called the transform tool. And I'm gonna make this a child of the image target. And then we're gonna play it, see if there's any errors. And we see some weird error here. So that means we have to go and install the correct version. And I will set a link for that right now. So this is the web page that you go to. If you see any weird errors, you just go ahead and download the latest model of Euphoria, because when you're dealing with Unity, there's a lot of version errors. Some things aren't compatible with other versions, so you just have to make sure you're at the both most updated versions of each. So I'm just going to send that on the chat. And I'm going to just share my screen so you know what the web page looks like. So it looks like this. And we're going to want to install this one, since this is the whole Euphoria engine. And it's the most recent one. So I just shared this link to this web page. I'm just gonna log in. You can just create an account. It's free. Unity's free too. And then once this downloads, you can just click on it, and it should automatically be applied to your project. Okay. And then it's already downloaded, so we're just gonna wait till it automatically applies. You just click import. And then we can try running it again. And if you don't know what the error is, you can just click here and the console will automatically pop up. So we're going to go ahead and open up a new project since we don't have the time to fix these issues right now. But if you're interested in how to fix these issues, or if you have issues of your own, feel free to come to our office hours. We're also going to be uploading a video about troubleshooting that just goes over the common troubleshooting issues you might have. So if you're struggling, take a look at that too. At this point, I've opened up a new project with everything already imported, so we can just go ahead and start from where we left off. And the image model is blank, so we can go ahead and add a new image. I'm going to select the default image we had before, since I already have it saved in my camera roll. I'm now looking in the project for a 3D object to overlay onto this image. I'm going to choose the lander and place it as a child of the model. So we're just going to click on this. We're going to move it this way. It looks like it's a good size already. And we're going to save and run. And when you're in the game mode, you can also make changes, but the changes that you make won't be saved. So you have to make sure if you're making any changes while you're currently in the game or in the game mode, you have to be aware that it doesn't save. Okay, and then this is kind of built to use the camera installed on the, and once you download it to your phone, it should work with your phone camera.
It is again one of the advantages of Unity, where you don't have to specify which camera you use, and so make it adaptable for different devices.
The game screen appears to be black, so an issue could be that the camera is already in use. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn off my camera.
Yeah, that's probably a problem where both the camera feeds are clashing.
Okay. So then we're just going to put the phone up. And sometimes so if there's a glare or anything, or you just have to, if there's like any, like see there's a glare here, it kind of interferes with the camera. So you just play with the angles. Or you can also mess with the brightness. You can put it brighter, lower, depending on, so like this is too bright, so you have to lower the brightness. And then that should pop up. And if you notice, it kind of just stays there. So if you don't want that to happen, then you can go ahead and actually the image target. And then here you say there's a thing that says tracked or extended tracking. So extended tracking is trying to track it even though the image isn't completely there. So it kind of just leaves everything lingering. And just an overview of what we did in this workshop. So we added an AR camera and an image target, then took a 3D object and made it a child of the image target. And it's pretty much what this workshop is. We just faced a lot of issues along the way, which is perfectly fine and normal. And if you visit our troubleshooting video, you can kind of dissect these issues with us. I also wanted to go over the other tutorial we would have gone through if we had the time, which is overlaying a video onto the same poster. To do this, you're going to need an image target again, and you're going to add an object that's a square over the poster or the image and capture the section where you want the image to be. In our case, we want the video to be over the person in the poster. You can't really see the person in the poster at the moment, but if we kind of remove the box in front of it by unchecking this check mark in the inspector, you can then see the poster clearly. To add the video to the poster, we need to go to the box settings and scroll all the way down to where you see Add Component. We're going to click on that to add a video element. And this is already pre-built, and all it does is allows you to add a video object. So I already have the video saved on my personal computer, and I have already added it to the project. So we're just going to go ahead and run this and see if it works. As you can see, the video overlaid onto the poster. You can just go ahead and make sure you choose the image properly, and then you can just see the actual video playing. And then here, if you look down on this, it lets you know that if it's tracked or if it's not tracked. So it's another way to debug if, let's say, something isn't working you're not sure if it's even tracking your image, you can check down here. It'll give you a comment, or if it's like extended tracking or if the image is lost, it'll let you know down here in this slot while you're in the play mode. And that's pretty much it. There's no code involved. It's just clicking and dragging. If you want to learn how to do this specific one, you can come to our office hours and we'll walk you step by step through the process.
Our office hours are, I think, pretty much Monday to Thursday, 4 to 5, if I'm not wrong, Ashley.
Yes.
And I'm just sending out a poll right now. I would appreciate if you can sort of fill this out and just give us some feedback on how we did today. Apart from that, we also have another thing coming up this quarter, which was like we are going to encourage you guys to sort of work on some projects independently. And for these, we'll be sort of like posting solutions in office hours, and you'll be giving guidelines from the documentation and the question and the prompt itself. But there'll be VR projects you can work on yourself. And so I'm just going to send a link to that here. This is sort of like, I guess we're marketing it as a challenge or like create a challenge series where we encourage you guys to work on VR projects yourself. The main purpose of this is, since most of the stuff we'll be covering in the workshops this quarter is AR, we sort of don't want you guys to be missing out on the VR part of it. But yeah, so like if you're interested and if you really want to go above and beyond, be sure to like follow along in the doc, reach out to us if you have questions regarding it, and we can work on it together during office hours. And you can also, like, if you have it figured out, you can also check like our example solution to it during office hours, or we'll also release like the solution game in a week. And we might also like do like a bit 5 or 10 minute discussion at the start of the next workshop. The link is, I guess, in the chat. Okay, sorry, I just sent the first one. The link is in the chat. I would also really recommend joining the Startup Center Slack. We will be, I think me and Ashley will create, I guess, a VR workshops channel there where you guys can like ask us questions and we can inform you of office hours, just different stuff we personally are working on and other projects. And you can also like sort of keep up with the challenge series there.
Yeah, so we just like really feel that the best way to learn something is just to dive in and just like knowing the fundamentals. If you need help with fundamentals, don't know where to start, you can let us know. But just working on a project outside of class really gives you a lot of just insight, and just knowing how to do things yourself is a great skill, and just working. So most of the learning comes from just trying it yourself, trying different things. So this is just the main reasoning behind our challenge series, if you're interested.
Okay, I think that's pretty much it in terms of the workshop today. Thank you all for attending. It was a pleasure to have you. I feel like this online format really impressed me in the sense that like I could engage with many of you individually on chat while Ashley sort of went over the workshop. It sort of works clearly in person. I also feel that this is definitely something we can continue doing over Zoom, since again we're really just working with software. So yeah, I feel like it was a great experience for us. I hope you guys also enjoyed your time and learned something, hopefully. And yeah, be sure to attend the next workshops, which will be 2 weeks from now, same time on Thursday.
Yeah. And then we're going to just keep trying to improve this experience. This was our first run at it. We're going to try to add break rooms. We're going to try to just make this as interactive as it can be on this super non-interactive platform. And if you have any questions, you can like speak up or just let us know in the chat. We'll be happy to answer them.
And yeah, if like any one of you have like some questions you have, you can stick around and sort of ask me Ashley those right now. But yeah, otherwise I think that's it for the workshop. Thanks for attending. And
I hope you guys learned anything, even if your Unity wasn't up and running. And we'll have this on our YouTube channel as soon as possible. And thank you guys for coming. Hope to see you next time.